Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we find ourselves at the most desperate of points. The point in the history of humanity where the lollygagging and lackadaisical behaviors must end. And the great debate between the head and the heart must commence. I stand before you with both heart and loins engorged with boiling blood, proud to represent in this perpetual battle that most glorious of guides and most nurturing of organs, the human heart. Never before in our brief stay on this planet has the battle between the head and the heart raged more ferociously than now, and never have the spoils been so profoundly obese. At the most likely fatal risk of being hyperbolic, this is the most important fucking decision a group of randomly compiled strangers has ever had to make. The choice is yours, and the verdict comes down tonight. Do we send our species careening into a dystopian, cold, and glassy future of the head? Or do we send it gently skipping down the well-flowered path towards the kind, caring, orgy-based society of the heart? Upon illuminating the pros of the heart and the cons of the head, you will find yourself with little recourse but to side with that thing that beats so gently in your breast and drives you, nay, all of us, towards a more beautifully serene existence. And so it is with great care that I shall outline the 5 ways in which the heart is superior to the head. The 10% conundrum. You will never use all of your head. Only 10% of the head, aka the brain, is accessible for daily and or lifetime use. Though it may seem paradoxical, I ask you to use your mind to imagine loving the one or the many that you love. Now cut that love by 90%. You wouldn't even give those motherfuckers bus fare were this the case. You will never use all of your brain. What the fuck is in there that we can't get at? What is the head withholding from us? Does it have a viable solution to the myriad of problems that we face as a species, maybe? In this sense, the head is a bit like God. It sees us on a daily basis, suffering through hell, yet possesses and withholds the directions to heaven. That sounds like a God I wish not to be at the whim of. You will never use all of your mind. But if you have lived a mediocre to good life, you will have used all of your heart. The head is nothing but a big self-serving meanie. The heart, upon seeing a fallen compatriot, erupts with empathy, leaving one with no choice but to help. The head thinks of the financial benefits of helping. By the time the head's calculations are done, and once it has factored in the possibility of being sued by those it is helping, the party that is in danger will already be long dead. It is the heart that deals well in the moment. The head can't stop its goddamn thinking even for a second. The head is so weak, it must manipulate the heart to further its evil agenda. I prefer to imagine the battle between the head and the heart as 2 fat men eating sandwiches on a seesaw. In this scenario, the human is the seesaw, and these 2 men eat and eat, and sometimes the heart weighs more than the head, and sometimes this vice is versa. When the heart is enriched by something beautiful, such as a poem or a kind word, the man representing the heart eats. When the head makes some super savvy move to climb up a ladder of its own making, the man representing the head becomes gluttonous. The head problem is that there is an army of people trying to feed the head and so few trying to feed the heart. This army of manipulators is often called the advertising industry. And these manipulatrixes, they have discovered that there is no better way to change your head than by appealing to your heart. They confuse the large man representing your heart into thinking that he has taken a bite of something substantial when in fact he is only fed on something devoid of nutrients. And so he becomes emaciated as the man representing your head gains more and more weight until he jumps off the seesaw like that asshole in 3rd grade. Severely damaging the heart's coccyx. Coccyx, it's down there. It's only out of weakness and fear that the head must manipulate the heart, just like that asshole in 3rd grade. Who the fuck are you kidding? You followed your head. You're here. That's the next part. No one would be in this room right now if they'd fouled their head. If you had fouled your head, you would be networking at some high-end whiskey bar attempting to secure monies for better feedings and a nicer condo. But no, you are here and you have the heart, as you should be, watching the mentally ill debate arbitrarily chosen topics. Conceived of by someone who was obviously high on drugs. Want to know why people follow their head, seem so happy? Because the head is as loud as thunder and can make things like passion go into non-existence, as we all know, except for me and Justin. Louder is not always better. My heart informs me that I have been ungentlemanly. Let us not defame the head too much. Oh, let us not defame the head too much. Admittedly, the head is responsible for many grand achievements that have changed the history of humanity. A short list for your pleasure. If my tone falters, I do wish for all of you to know that said tone is to be doused and then drowned in sarcasm. Money! That fine and enriching thing. The unwritten and unsigned social contract. Corporate parks. That's a good one. Jobs in corporate parks. Never had one, but they sound tits. The calendar. Now I know when my job is. Cars that carry us quickly to malls. Bombs and guns that kill humans. And finally, pills that help you ignore your heart. In closing, I feel that there is little to be said except for this one final thought. That I assure you comes straight from my heart, and not my mind. The head, in its infinite... Oh, rewind. The head, in its finite and poorly collected wisdom, will always think it's right. The heart, though often wrong, need never think. Thank you.